Were you sexually abused as a child? If so, you already know that can be incredibly painful. But what can happen though is that some people just suppress it and they don't even remember it. The damage is there, but they just shut it out. Others, they overeat and so forth to try to make themselves feel better, or they you really beat themselves up over and over again. The inner critic beats them up. In this video, I'm going to talk with you about some of the effects in terms of our relationships, in terms of money, and etc. And then we'll do a healing visualization in the latter part of the video. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So you may want to know first of all, who is this guy anyway? So my name is Rémi. I've been in the helping field for 50 years now. And I've worked a lot I spent 10 years as a family therapist in child protection. So I've worked a lot with people who've been abused, with individuals. I've worked with couples, I've worked with families where sexual abuse has been an issue. So, for example, mom was sexually abused, and then that impacts her parenting, etc. There's so many facets, but you get it. So I've got after my master's degree, I got 5 years of intensive training in couple and family therapy in order to learn how to help people resolve these various really painful issues. And then that wasn't enough, so I've gone more and more broadly in terms of looking at how can we clear things at the energetic level and so forth. So I do a combination of things. Okay, so let me talk with you a little bit about some of the effects first. So at the personal level, we have unresolved trauma. So there's part of us that can be clenched, and we may not even be conscious of it, but our brain says, Mayday, Mayday, this is dangerous. So the brain impacts our nervous system, which impacts our body and emotions and mind, of course. So there's a clenching and shutting down that happens. For some people, they're just too open and vulnerable. So it's the opposite. So that's one example. For some people, they're anxiety, depression, overeating, and so on. And our inner child is really wounded, whether it happened. The damage is worse when the abuse it happened when we were younger, like 3 years old, for example, as opposed to 16. And the impact is worse if it's a family member as opposed to a neighbor, but it's still really damaging no matter what. And the impact is worse if there were other kinds of difficulties in the family, like violence and neglect and family breakdown and etc. That's called adverse childhood experiences. So it ends up compounding things. So for some people, you want to put on a helmet to walk around through life energetically with a helmet on. So we're desperate to receive, desperate for healing on some levels. On another level, we say, no way, Jose, I don't want. And we may not even trust the divine. Or we may connect with our higher chakras, our higher connection with the universe, and we're shut down our body. So there's a lot of different reactions. Just consider, what about you? Because very often what happens is we have, you're 40 years old or whatever it is, and you have these effects, but you don't relate it to what happened to you as a child. It's crucial. It's not the only thing, because there's also past lives, and we carry collective consciousness and so on. So you get it. So at the relationship level, we can feel unworthy of love, so we act accordingly. Or we can't trust the other guy. All those males are terrible, for example. Or we have sexual difficulties where we can't. We won't. It's too terrifying. Too vulnerable. What happens at the relationship level is two people come close together. especially people who are really closely connected at the soul level. They come together, and what happens is the energies that we carry, the unresolved energies, become compressed between us. So, for example, let's say you had your childhood was not too bad, but the other guy was sexually abused as a child. As you come closer together, they can go into freak out mode and run for the hills. Or if you were both sexually abused, part of what happens is we can I focus on the other guy. You're the problem. I don't trust you, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a very tangled web. So to work at clearing those things for yourself and clearing energetically between you and your beloved, or for you and your children if they've been abused, is really helpful. Then life becomes more and more simple, more disentangled. So it becomes easier to have a healthy relationship for those of you who want one. At the energy level, one of the things that happens is that when we're getting abused, the other person's negative energy impacts us. It's not just impact as in like a punch, it's an invasive energy. Yes, that's true. But there's also, especially for empaths, we inhale their dense energy. So hatred of males, for example, we end up carrying. Self-hatred, we carry the person who abused us, their self-hatred ends up in our field. So some of our self-hatred is not ours. It can come from various places, but including from the person who abused us. You see? So it's complex. So you have to be really careful as you do healing work. It's a lot more complex than most of the field of working with sexual abuse, helping to transmute the suffering. It's more complex than most people usually talk about. So let's do some healing work now. So if you're driving or whatever, please do this later. Do this at a time when you feel safe. I get guided now in terms of what we're going to do. The types of transformational work that we do, it's a combination of healing visualizations, working with higher energies, ascended masters, archangels, etc., as well as the unmanifest, and working as well with energy psychology. So it's powerful methods for transformation. Okay. Now, imagine that your wounded inner child comes up, is an issue. So the fight or flight, etc. It's partly in our brain, the way our brain reacts, etc. But it's also our inner child freaks out. Think of that as the lower three chakras. Go to your heart chakra. Breathe in and out more fully than usual. That helps to calm down our nervous system. Connect with higher energies in a way that you see fit. So for example, if it's Christ or the unmanifest or the universe, whatever, connect with those higher energies. As we connect with higher energies, we send the energy down below to the lower parts. That works far better than hanging out, going, working on our low self-esteem and so forth. I worked with over 70 various types of healers and professionals, etc., over time to help me heal my stuff. It didn't work. It wasn't enough. Parts of me were shut down and etc., but it's just not enough to just dive into talking about this stuff over and over again. So one hand on your heart chakra, the other hand on your belly. Imagine your inner mother on the left side of your body, inner father, right side of your body. connect with your inner child and you help your inner child to heal. For some of us, we have a map in terms of, well, my inner father my inner masculine is a destructive and etc. So that's fine. So then you connect with higher up. You can ask for divine Archangel Michael, for example, or divine masculine. To ask those energies to help to heal for your inner mother and inner father, and after that for your inner child. There's a variety of layers of this, so I work on this for a while. We'll do another little piece before we go towards wrapping up for today. What I want to tell you before we wrap up is that we have a free webinar for you if you're interested. If what we do here is helpful for you, look at the information below, and you can register with us to get a free webinar regarding healing of sexual abuse using these energetic methods. So imagine that you inhaled the negative energy of your abuser. It might have been more than one, of course, might have been 5 or whatever. That's partly in our aura. Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael. Clear the etheric layer of our aura. Emotional. Mental. Buddhic. Atmic. Galactic, and so on. And imagine that there's a cloud over your head as a result of having been abused. So that's in the mental layer of our aura, so third layer of our aura. Ask Spirit to clear away that energy. So traditional methods of healing these issues can be really helpful. But if you do it over and over again, and it doesn't take you very far, you might feel really good after a session with a therapist for half an hour or whatever, or a couple of days, and then you go back to same old. Then you say, okay, that's not enough. I need to do something different. Or if you keep yearning for connection, but you keep getting beat up as a result, thrown away, rejected, and you need to go more deeply with these things. So if you're interested in helping to transmute those things, we have sessions and webinars and so on in terms of this, helping to heal these things more and more deeply. But for now, if you're interested, hit the button for the free webinar regarding healing of sexual abuse. Thank you so much for being part of this. Namaste.